Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, I'm sitting next to my Massey Ferguson tractor I affectionately call George. I'm doing all kinds of stuff to it, trying to get it more able to do what I need it to do. And one of those things you might not be able to see, but these tires have got to be 100 years old. They're old Goodyear tires. They still got good tread on them, but they are getting really cracked. And on the other side of this one, this is actually has like a slice all the way down it. And part of the reason I'm doing the work is that the tire's been rubbing on this over here, so it's like all grooved out right here. So in that aspect, I have bought new tires. Now these are more tractor tires like you'd have on a tractor like this. Honestly, I can't remember the price as usual, so I will put the price down below. I got them off Amazon, and I'm hoping they work for me. I can't remember the rating, but the rating was well within the fact that I'm using a bucket on the front of this thing. They were, I don't know, a couple tons a piece, if not more. If I can find that information, I'll put that down below as well. But I've been needing tires. I'm hoping these kind of tires might help it turn a little easier as well. I'm not sure about that either, or if these are made to make it go straighter. Who knows? But they were a pretty darn good deal. In fact, when I went looking for tires for this, I gave the numbers off of this tire and told them what was going on at all the like 3 or 4 different tire stores around here, just to kind of see what it would take just to get them here, or just to get them put on. And they either couldn't even figure out how to find me tires for it, or the one place that I found them wanted over almost $400 a piece. It was like $370 some a piece, and he wasn't even sure if they were going to be the right thing. So that's when I went and I bought these. Yet again, price down below, but they were a whole lot cheaper on Amazon, and I have a tire machine, so I think I will just go ahead and do the work myself. These are tubes. There's tubes inside of these. I'm not sure if there's tubes inside of these ones here, but they should work either way, I'm hoping. So I'm probably not going to do a whole thing of putting these on. I'm just going to probably fast forward through it as just to kind of show you what I'm doing. If you want to see a more in-depth video on putting wheels and tires onto wheels with my machine, I have a whole machine, or a whole video on my Coates 2020 machine and how to do that. So go check out my channel and look up for the Coates 2020. Or you can go to my playlists. It'll probably be in my shop one, in one of my tool ones. I got several playlists, so go check out those. You'll probably find several things you'll enjoy watching. Alright, let's get to it. So you can see the last one broke off on me there. I'm going to try this one again. It looks like it might work the way I planned on it. Sometimes you can pull these out just enough to kind of get to the soft spot of this. I probably pulled a little bit too hard last time. Hopefully my head's not in your way, but I'm just kind of going around the whole thing. And this tube is just destroyed. There's no reusing it. It is dead. That was my plan last time, but unfortunately it was so old and decrepit, the end here broke off in here. So that was my plan of how to do it the first time. Plans make God laugh. So these are quite rusty and nasty, and before I put those brand new tires on here, I'm going to do the best I can to clean them up and probably shoot some sort of paint back in there just to kind of hopefully keep this from getting too bad too quick. I'm glad I did what I did on the inside, but I'm going different plans on the outside. Quite honestly, I wish I had time to do this completely perfect and go, you know, grind this all the way down. But quite honestly, to use this, I would have to take down the metal because somebody's already shot some paint over this, which is in hindsight a good thing. It's, I think, kept this wheel, the outside part of this wheel, it's not that bad. Problem is that they didn't prep it first, and so it's just kind of flaky paint in a lot of places. So really, to do this right, I have to sandblast it. That's what I'm getting to, is I would want to sandblast it. I don't have time to sandblast it. I am going to shoot paint on the inside and probably shoot some paint to go ahead and make it a color on the outside that I want it. And later on, later on down the road, I plan on kind of tearing this tractor apart maybe one day and actually doing a better job on it. But right now, it just needs to be functional and it'll look decent. And I'm going to use some of this Rust-Oleum primer here. I like Rust-Oleum personally. Will it last as long as a professional product? No. Has this wheel lasted with no paint on it at all inside for probably since the 1950s or so? Yeah, I think this will, if nothing else, make it better. Then on top of that, I'm just going to shoot some of this black Rust-Oleum 2X Ultra Cover paint. Now, this stuff says you can put it over bare metal, but I personally like putting primers on. It's just my personal opinion to help a little bit, hopefully. And I'm just going to put that on the inside and probably the back. And then later on I'll show you what I'll put that on the front, is what I'm going to put on the front. So this is one of those videos where I'm just going to tell you right off the bat how I'm doing it wrong. First of all, I should have taken like a red Scotch-Brite like this. If you don't know about these, you should if you're going to plan on painting anything. These make life so much easier when you're sanding. But I should have sanded everything. This is good because I took the wire wheel to it, so I'm not worried about this part. I probably wouldn't have sanded that. I should have cleaned it with alcohol. Yet again, just getting it done now. I need to get this tractor out of my garage so I can use it for something. I also used filler sander, so it fills a little deeper. This actually is pretty good stuff for a rattle can primer, which I'm also using just kind of to seal up everything. Alright, confession time now. I got these all painted, got the black painted on them, and I painted the blue on this one, and then remembered I forgot to put primer on it. So I went ahead and scuffed that up. This one is also ready to go. Got the black on the back and in the middle here, and I'm about to put the blue on. And I scuffed that one up. So they're both scuffed up, blown off, ready to go for primer. Also, I realized when doing this that this wheel and this wheel are not the same wheel, so I guess we'll go with it for now. We have a problem here. Unfortunately, I ran out of the Rust-Oleum stuff I was going to use. So I started using this sandable primer I got at Harbor Freight for the Iron Armor. And I've actually used these two products together before. But I think because that paint is so fresh, we're having a problem. So this has actually been drying for probably 3 or 4 days. This blue here that I put on there. And I don't know if you can tell, but we're definitely having some crackling problems here. I hope you can see that. I can't tell. I don't have my glasses on, but it's definitely not doing well with this on top of this paint. I've put it underneath the Rust-Oleum paint before and didn't have any problems. So I don't know what's going on or if there's something wrong with this, but the blue wasn't like this underneath it. So something has caused a problem between that Iron Armor and the Rust-Oleum over the top of the the Iron Armor over the top of the Rust-Oleum. Well, I found some lacquer thinner. We'll see if we can keep from making more of a mess. And see what happens here. I do not know if this is the right way to do this. Never actually tried. I never had a problem. This is pretty much my first problem I think I've ever had with a reaction in rattle can type spray paints. Stuff is so much nicer. It's night and day spraying different stuff than Rust-Oleum. Go with Rust-Oleum. It just works. And they don't pay me! 2 coats! looks okay. Not perfect, obviously, but it looks better than a bunch of wrinkles. It's not wrinkling up. And I just put kind of a pretty light coat on just to kind of test it. Just a fog coat. We'll let that dry really, really good. I'm going to go sit and let that dry for a while and put another light coat on and maybe put a heavier coat on after that. But regardless, I'm going to get the primer on there and then we'll be back and we'll paint the last coat of blue on that wheel and a couple more on this one. All right. Use cheap tape. It works better on tires. The great thing about painting after somebody else is you can blame the runs on the last guy. Well, I'm not going to lie to you two, but it took me a little while to remember how to do this. Now, I've done some smaller tractor tires, lots of bike tires, wheelbarrow tires, all kinds of tube tires. But quite honestly, I cannot remember. I know I've taken tubes out of tires, but that was when I was really young, and I don't think they trusted me not to screw up new tubes. So I don't know if I've ever actually put a tube in an actual like automotive or tractor tire. So I've set this here, and here's the deal. In here, you're going to look for, there we go, the valve stem here. And you're going to want to make sure that, see, it's pointing up right here. So if I was to flip this whole thing around, then it would be pointing back the other way. It should be fairly self-explanatory, but yet again, this doesn't work perfectly, but this is the best method I came up with that actually worked. So now I'm going to take and spray my soapy water all over this, and this is where you have to be very careful. This tube, the machine that I'm using, although these tools were made for that, have been known to puncture tubes as going in. So we have to be careful about that. The other thing is this tire, unlike most, I have trouble getting it on. So I am actually going to lock it down. I forgot I need to lock it down for this part of it. Okay, so we got the valve stem here. We got the hole for the valve stem right there. I've put soapy water on it. Now we're kind of pulling this off here to the side and then doing like we normally would, where you push it on. Now usually I can push a tire on. I could not get these ones to go. So on this particular machine, this here goes over the wheel. Yet again, it'll scratch your wheel up, and we got to just be careful, because if it gets a hold of the tube, you need to stop just as soon as you can. You got to stop, and if you have to stop it, you got to pull this off. But no more about the machine, you can go watch that video. Let's see if we can get this to go. Whoop. I am getting as much of it on as I can and holding down on this side over here. Hopefully you can see this. Oh, helps to hook it up with air. All right. Now we're all set. We're going to try it again. All right. And we had success. It didn't feel like it got caught at all on the machine. Now here's where I'm going to pull that off again, because we kind of want some movement here. And we got our valve stem right there. And now I'm going to push this towards the back, and I'm going to take the tube and I'll lift the tire up a little bit, and I'm putting the tube around the inside part of the wheel. Now you don't want to get it really twisted inside there, so you got to try and make it as close to the way it's going to want to sit in there. Now I'm bringing it this way. Figuring out where the valve stem is. I'm kind of looking through the hole. This one's going to go hopefully better. I can see the valve stem through the hole right there. So I got my little wire here, and I'm just going to go down and fish it out of there. Until it pops up through there. And once you get a hold of it, kind of lift up on the tube. Hopefully you saw that. I got a hold of it and I lifted up on it here. Now I'm taking the cap off here, and I'm taking my valve stem tool. It's a puller, and I'm actually putting that on here. I doubt this is a normal procedure, but I found it to work well for me. I'm putting that on there, kind of setting it to the side, and that way it won't fall through. And you can also kind of manipulate this a little bit. Then just kind of make sure, yet again, that the tube is not anywhere to be seen if at all possible. We're going to hold this, make sure that doesn't go down in there too far if you can help it. And we're going to do the same thing as we did last time. The hook goes around the wheel. Okay. Bring this around, but then that's where we start losing the tube. So make sure that the wheel or the tire is moving, but the tube is not. Okay, so alright. And we move the tube a little bit, so I'm going to try and kind of maneuver it back. I'm just trying to keep this valve stem as close to here as I can get without anything going wrong. And then I'm going to push down on this side, and we're going to bring it back around. And yet again, it did move a little bit, but we are pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. That's better than it was the last time. I might not have to take the air out and move it around like I did the last time too. Keep the hold on that though. In fact, I probably should have left that on there for a minute, but I'm just going to be careful. Got this, which hooks on to them. Pull that up. This is the part that was kind of hard to get this on here, but I locked it in. Now in the real world, this machine would have a separate little thing that does this. Now I'm just kind of pulling up on this and bumping it with air. See how it's kind of turning that way? It did this last time too, only worse. So I'm going to just pull straight out on it. We are now, the air you hear is coming out of this. We are now kind of able to get on there and give it some juice here. And see, we don't even have anything registering on here, so. And this one is accurate. My other one is not accurate at all. So I'm going to put some air in, let it kind of do its thing. I'm going to just put in a little bit at a time. Pay attention to the valve stem, that it's not going anywhere or doing anything I don't want it to. Now we're finally registering a little bit. And you can even see that popped out. It's popped out straighter. So yet again, we have this is sticking out here. It's sticking straighter up. I could probably leave it and do do it the way it is, but it's kind of touching over here a little more than I would like. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold on to it. Let all the air out. And then I got that on there, and I'm not going to pull on it too much, but I am going to kind of give it a little bit of just a nudge to try and kind of get it to go more in the center, kind of center itself up. Happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Schrader valve back in here. Probably called it a valve stem too, but Schrader valve. And then we're going to once again hook this one on here, because if you try and hook the other type on, it'll just push it right down. Wasn't too bad. First one went a little bit more difficult. That's why I filmed the second one. It's not all that hard. This is definitely more in the middle. This is better than the other one as far as that's concerned. I might have to revisit it down the road. But right now I'm happy. I got my painted wheels. I got my new tires. Let's get them on the tractor and get this thing out of here. Well, thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.